Welcome to the Scenario Podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're getting into something, really crucial: sleep hygiene. It's about way more than just how you look in the morning, right? It's fundamental to, everything. Health, mood, all of it.
Absolutely. And so many people struggle with sleep. It's incredibly common. Often, I think people don't realize how much they could actually influence it.
Yeah, it feels like this thing that just happens or doesn't happen to you.
Exactly. So today, we're digging into this great resource, the Sleep Hygiene Checklist for Deeper, Healthier Sleep. Our mission really is to pull out the practical stuff from this checklist.
Actionable insights, yeah. To help listeners maybe figure out why those nights are so tough and hopefully get some better, more consistent rest.
Precisely. If you're tuning in, chances are sleep's been a bit of a challenge sometimes.
Okay, so let's define our terms. Sleep hygiene. Sounds a bit formal, maybe.
It does, a little. But it's really just, the collection of habits, your routines, even your bedroom environment. All the things that add up to affect how well you sleep.
The checklist makes a good analogy. It compares it to personal hygiene, like brushing your teeth. You do that for your physical health, right?
Exactly. It's a preventative thing. We know brushing stops cavities, generally. Good sleep hygiene helps prevent all sorts of sleep problems and the knock-on effects.
It's about setting up the right conditions for your body and brain to do their nighttime work.
Right. Because when those habits are off, the consequences aren't just feeling groggy. It goes deeper.
Yeah, the checklist lays it out pretty clearly. There's the obvious stuff, taking ages to fall asleep, waking up in the middle of the night, that brain fog feeling.
Tossing and turning.
But then it links poor sleep hygiene to longer-term issues, too. Things like mood problems, trouble concentrating, even impacts on your immune system and metabolism.
And it mentions increased risks for quite serious conditions, too. Anxiety, depression, diabetes, cardiovascular problems. It's not trivial stuff.
Not at all. It really underscores that sleep isn't just passive downtime. It's critical.
It's a very active, essential biological process. And the good news, as the checklist highlights, is that a lot of the factors are things we can tweak. It's about making intentional choices.
Okay, so how do we know if our choices are helping or hindering? The checklist has this great section on the signs of poor sleep hygiene.
And these things can creep up on you, can't they? You might not even notice they've become habits.
Totally. So let's run through some. Does this sound familiar to anyone listening? Lying awake for, say, more than 30 minutes. Just stuck there, mind racing.
That racing mind feeling, yeah, that's a big one. Or maybe relying on scrolling through your phone right up until lights out.
Guilty. Or falling asleep with the TV on.
Yeah, or maybe eating a drink, or even pills, just to feel like you can switch off. These are all flags kind of signaling that your natural sleep drive isn't quite working optimally.
And it's not just getting to sleep, is it? What about waking up a lot?
Frequent awakenings, yeah. You wake up, maybe for no clear reason, and then struggle to get back to sleep.
Or being super sensitive to, like, the tiniest bit of light, or a floorboard creaking, or the room temperature changing slightly.
Exactly. That heightened sensitivity can be a sign. And then there's the schedule itself. Being all over the place with bedtimes and wake-up times during the week.
And then trying to catch up with massive lie-ins on the weekend.
Right. That inconsistency really messes with your internal body clock. The checklist calls it feeling sort of jet-lagged even without traveling.
That weekend jet lag. Know that feeling. And what about waking up tired even after, say, 7 or 8 hours? Still needing loads of caffeine to function.
That daytime sleepiness or brain fog, it's a strong indicator that the sleep you're getting isn't restorative, It's not quality sleep.
And naps. The checklist brings those up, too.
Yeah, naps can be tricky. A short power nap might be fine, but taking really long naps or napping late in the afternoon, that can steal your sleep drive for the night.
Making it harder to fall asleep later, creating a cycle.
Precisely. And we already touched on screens, but it's worth hammering home. That habit of phone, tablet, TV right before bed.
Or even just falling asleep with the TV murmuring in the background.
The checklist really flags that because of the blue light. It basically tells your brain, stay awake by suppressing melatonin, the sleep hormone.
Right when you need it most.
Exactly. And the last sign the checklist mentions is that nighttime anxiety or restlessness, feeling weirdly wired or mentally active just when you want to sleep.
Yeah, thoughts spiraling, maybe waking up with worries. It's tough.
It really can be. But, and this is the hopeful part the checklist emphasizes, recognizing these signs is the first step. Change is possible.
Okay, good. So we know the warning signs. Let's pivot to the solutions, the good sleep hygiene practices from the checklist. First up, consistency.
Yes, this is huge. The checklist stresses going to bed and waking up around the same time every single day. Weekends included, ideally.
Why is that same time every day thing so important?
It's all about regulating your circadian rhythm, that internal clock. Consistency reinforces the cycle. It trains your body.
So it knows when to expect sleep and when to expect wakefulness?
Pretty much. It makes it easier to fall asleep, reduces the time spent lying awake, and often helps you wake up feeling refreshed, sometimes even before your alarm.
And that tip about weekends, try not to sleep in more than an hour past your usual time.
Yeah, that helps keep the clock from getting too confused. Minimizes that weekend jet lag effect.
Got it. Okay, next, a relaxing bedtime routine. The checklist suggests starting this, 60 to 90 minutes before bed?
That's the window, yeah. The idea is to consciously shift gears. Signal to your body and mind that sleep is approaching.
So what does that look like? What should we do in that wind down time?
Well, the checklist gives some good examples. Things like dimming the lights throughout the house, maybe reading a physical book, something light, not work-related or too thrilling.
Okay.
Gentle activities, maybe some light journaling, gentle stretching or yoga, nothing strenuous.
And what should we definitely avoid in that pre-sleep window?
Anything stimulating, really. So intense or stressful conversations, checking work emails, trying to solve problems, scrolling through endless social media feeds.
Anything that gets the heart rate up or the stress hormones flowing.
Exactly. The routine is designed to help lower cortisol, that stress hormone, and ease you into a restful state.
Right. And screens again. Minimizing screen time before bed. Checklist says 30, 60 minutes minimum, screen-free.
That blue light issue we mentioned, it directly interferes with melatonin production.
So practical steps, just put the phone away.
Ideally, yes. Turn off all the electronics. If you absolutely must use a device, the checklist suggests using night mode or blue light filters. Some people even use those blue light blocking glasses in the evening.
Anything to reduce that stimulating light exposure.
Yeah, it just gives your natural sleep processes a better chance.
Okay, stimulants. Caffeine, alcohol, nicotine. The checklist warns against these in the evening.
Right. Caffeine's a big one. It can stay in your system for, well, quite a while. The recommendation is usually to avoid it for at least 6 to 8 hours before bed. And that includes coffee, many teas, sodas, even chocolate sometimes.
6 to 8 hours. Wow. Okay. What about alcohol? People think it helps them sleep.
It might make you drowsy initially, yeah. But the checklist points out it actually fragments your sleep later in the night, particularly REM sleep, and often leads to waking up way too early.
So not actually restful sleep and
Yeah.
nicotine.
Also a stimulant. It increases alertness, can delay sleep onset, so maybe swap those out for something calming. The checklist suggests herbal teas like chamomile or valerian root.
Good alternatives. Okay. Food. What and when we eat matters too, according to the checklist.
Definitely heavy, spicy, or really rich meals close to bedtime can cause indigestion or heartburn, which obviously isn't great for sleep.
Right. Keeps you uncomfortable.
So if you are hungry before bed, the checklist suggests light snacks. Things like a banana, maybe a small bowl of oatmeal, some Greek yogurt.
Easy to digest stuff. And hydration. Drink less before bed.
Yeah, stay hydrated during the day for sure. But maybe ease off the fluids in the last hour or two before bed, just to avoid those nighttime bathroom breaks disrupting your sleep.
Makes sense. Now, the bedroom itself, a sleep-only zone is how the checklist puts it.
Optimizing the environment. Keeping it cool is key. The ideal range is generally thought to be around 60 to 67 Fahrenheit or 15 to 19 Celsius.
Cooler than many people might think.
It often is, yeah. Also minimizing noise, white noise machine, fan, earplugs if needed, and darkness, of course. Blackout curtains can be great. Comfortable bedding helps too.
And the sleep-only part.
That's about the mental association. Try to reserve your bed just for sleep and intimacy. Avoid working in bed, watching TV in bed, scrolling for hours. You want your brain to connect bed with sleep.
Training the brain again. Okay, calming the mind. This feels like a big one for a lot of people, those racing thoughts. What techniques does the checklist suggest?
It offers several good ones. Meditation is very effective. Guided apps like Headspace or Calm can help here. Deep breathing exercises too, like the 4-7-8 method perhaps. Progressive muscle relaxation tensing and releasing muscle groups can release physical tension, which often helps the mind quiet down too. And even just gratitude journaling. Writing down a few things you're thankful for can shift focus away from worries.
Simple, but potentially powerful. Nice. The checklist also mentions daily movement, exercise.
Yes, regular physical activity generally promotes better sleep quality. Helps regulate that circadian rhythm too.
Timing matters though, right?
It does. The checklist suggests aiming for at least 30 minutes of moderate exercise most days. Morning or early afternoon seems to be best for most people. You probably want to avoid really intense workouts in the 2-3 hours before bed, as that can be too stimulating.
Okay, good tip. And speaking of morning, getting natural light exposure then, why is that important?
Sunlight is a powerful cue for your internal clock. Getting that light, especially within the first hour or so of waking, helps to anchor your circadian rhythm. It tells your body, okay, it's daytime, time to be alert.
So step outside for a bit, or just open the blinds wide.
Exactly. Even 15-30 minutes near a bright window helps. It reinforces the start of the wake cycle, which in turn helps regulate the timing of your sleep cycle later on.
It all connects. Okay, last main point from the checklist. Napping. The verdict seems mixed.
Yeah, it's about being mindful, or nap smart, as the checklist implies. Short naps, like 20-30 minutes earlier in the day before 3 p.m., usually can be restorative for some.
But long naps or late naps?
Those can definitely interfere with your ability to fall asleep at night. They reduce your sleep pressure. So the checklist advises if you're already struggling with nighttime sleep, maybe skip the naps altogether for a while.
Got it. This checklist is really comprehensive. It even has bonus tips like keeping a sleep diary.
Which can be super helpful for spotting patterns. And things like aromatherapy lavender, perhaps.
And that advice about not forcing it, if you're lying awake for 20-30 minutes, get up and do something quiet until you feel sleepy again.
Absolutely. Fighting it in bed often just creates more anxiety about sleep. Breaking that association can be really beneficial.
So listening to all this, it could feel maybe a bit daunting, like you have to change everything at once.
Definitely don't try that.
Yeah.
The checklist itself suggests building gradually. Pick one thing, or maybe two.
Just 1 or 2 checklist items that feel doable.
Exactly, something that resonates with your situation. Focus on making that a consistent habit. Then, once that feels normal, maybe layer in another one. It's a process.
A gradual build towards better sleep.
And the eventual payoff, as the checklist outlines, is falling asleep more easily, staying asleep, waking up feeling genuinely refreshed and clear-headed. That's the goal.
Fantastic. So the big takeaway really is that intentional habits, good sleep hygiene, can make a massive difference to sleep quality and just overall well-being.
It really can. So maybe, as you're listening, think about which of these points really hit home for you. What feels like your particular challenge?
And if people want to dive even deeper, the checklist mentions further resources.
It does. There are free ebooks mentioned, like From Chaos to Calm, and the Deep Sleep Manual, apparently packed with more tips.
Great. So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something to think about. What's maybe one subtle way your current daily routine might be either helping or perhaps hindering your sleep?
And following on from that, what's just one small adjustment you could realistically make tonight? Just one thing to nudge yourself towards better rest.
And what ripple effect could that small change have on how you feel and function tomorrow? Something to consider.
It's those small, consistent steps, isn't it? They often add up to the biggest improvements.
Well, thanks for exploring sleep hygiene with us. We really hope this deep dive into the checklist has given you some practical ideas and maybe some motivation to prioritize your rest.
Hope it helps you find that deeper sleep you deserve.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scenario Podcast. Don't forget to visit scenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.